everyone at the White House for holding this wonderful event. And my sincere gratitude goes out to the First Lady for being our special host today. Thank you. It is an honor to be here with all of you and a privilege to unveil the United States Postal Service's stamp commemorating the life, memory, and legacy of one of America's most prominent women, First Lady Barbara Bush. Today we recognize Mrs. Bush not only as a beloved First Lady, but as a remarkable American in her own right. She charted a legacy for herself and did it with conviction, determination, and compassion. Barbara Bush was known for her drive to help others, a drive that forged her through her own life experiences and tragedies. The loss of her daughter Robin to leukemia at the age of 3 left an indelible mark on her heart and one that instilled profound empathy for individuals and families marked by illness. In 1989, Mrs. Bush visited a hospice and cradled a child dying from AIDS. At that time, even touching someone with AIDS was not only stigmatized, but feared. In that moment, she encouraged the country to look past the disease and see the suffering child. In that vision, she helped shift people's perceptions about the disease and changed an entire nation's conversation, one that her son, George W. Bush, would later continue in his presidency. In seeing her son Neil struggle with dyslexia, she took on the challenge of illiteracy, a defining pillar of her social platform. She established the Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy in 1989 and championed the National Literacy Act in 1991. Through her tenure as First Lady, she hosted Mrs. Bush's Storytime, a national radio broadcast encouraging adults to read aloud to children. These efforts helped equip young Americans with a core skill needed to succeed in life. The books she wrote, inspired by her beloved dogs, topped bestseller lists, and proceeds were used to further fund literacy programs. Her name now graces schools from Texas to Arizona, a children's hospital in Maine, and most proudly to her Literacy Plaza in Houston, all symbols of her lifelong mission to connect families and communities to the power of knowledge. As you can see, the personal struggles marking Mrs. Bush's life did not harden her. They inspired her and deepened her connection to the Americans she served. They revealed what truly matters: family, compassion, and service. Through those lessons, she became a national example of strength, humility, and grace. Perhaps what Mrs. Bush is most remembered for is her plain-spoken honesty, sharp and often self-deprecating sense of humor, and authenticity. She never pretended to be someone she wasn't. She spoke her mind, laughed at herself, and stayed grounded, even as history unfolded around her. Her legacy lives on, not just in the buildings that bear her name, but in the lives changed through education, in the compassion that she modeled, and in the lessons that she left behind. In a moment, we will unveil the First Class Mail Forever stamp honoring First Lady Barbara Bush. The image, which is a detail from her official White House portrait, shows Mrs. Bush wearing one of her signature multi-string pearl necklaces. Her portrait, an oil-on-canvas painting, was created in 1995 by artist Shays Fagan, who famously painted oil portraits of all 45 U.S. presidents. First Lady Barbara Bush represented the very best of America. We are so proud to honor her life and her many contributions to our great nation with this beautiful piece of art. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Mrs. Yates, Mrs. Cook, will you do the honors, please? Mrs. Trump. Okay, everyone, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Commemorate her legacy of service to our nation through the First Lady Barbara Bush postage stamp. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Alice Yates, the Chief Executive Officer of the George and Barbara Bush Foundation.
Thank you. What a special opportunity for family, friends, and loved ones, former staff members to gather here and to honor First Lady Barbara Bush. Oh, that's really beautiful here in the White House. Mrs. Trump, your kindness and generous hospitality is so appreciated. Thank you. Our thanks to Judy. The kind introduction and your remarks were just so lovely. And all the men and women of the United States Postal Service, thank you for recognizing Mrs. Bush in such a meaningful way during her centennial year. I can only imagine, and we talked about it a little bit, the memories that are flooding the minds of members of the Bush family to be back here in the White House to reflect on your mother, on your Granny, your beloved friend, your mentor, how nostalgic it must feel, and what a privilege to join you.
My mom always loved to come back and visit, and I know she's watching over us today and reminding me to keep these remarks short. Thank you to the Postal Service. The stamp perfectly captures Mom's poise and dignity. Mom would be so happy that she is featured with her favorite portrait by the great American artist Chas Fagan, who is here today. I'd also like to thank our friend Stuart McLaurin and the White House Historical Association for all they've done to support today's event. Their work is so important to keeping the White House and its amazing history available for all Americans. Barbara Bush, known to many as Mom, Ganny, the Silver Fox, or most famously in our family, the Enforcer, will forever be remembered for her strength, abounding love for family, quick wit, and deep commitment to literacy. At just 16 years old, Mom met the only man she would ever kiss. I watched Susan Ford and I saw her burst into tears when her mother's stamp was unveiled. I said, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, let's see. The only man she would ever kiss at a school dance. 2 years later, she was engaged to George H.W. Bush, beginning a partnership that would span decades and help shape history. Little did she know the adventures ahead. Life with George Bush was never boring. Mom lived through 6 children, 21 grandchildren, at least 27 moves from California to China, 7 wars, 3 dress sizes, 2 governors, 7 parachute jumps, and 2 presidents. When she became First Lady, she transformed the White House into a true home. She hosted hundreds of guests, regularly invited our children and her grandchildren for sleepovers, and even welcomed 6 spirited Springer Spaniels into the mix. Mom told her staff she wanted to do something every day to help others, so that's what she did. She scheduled many events and visits that highlighted a need, helped encourage volunteerism, or focused on literacy. Her signature cause was literacy. She believed that all of the problems in the world would be solved if every man, woman, and child could read, write, and comprehend. In one defining moment, Mom helped shift the national dialogue around HIV/AIDS during a visit to Grandma's House Hospice in Washington, D.C. She cradled baby Donovan, an infant with HIV, at a time when fear and stigma were rampant. That simple, compassionate act captured in a photo that made national headlines, spoke louder than words ever could. Mom was never one to shy away from speaking the truth or taking a stand. Her 1990 commencement speech at Wellesley College, initially met with resistance, went on to become one of the most celebrated speeches of the 20th century. In it, she encouraged graduates to pursue meaningful relationships over material success, saying, "At the end of your life, you will never regret not having passed one more test, not winning one more verdict, or not closing one more deal. You will regret time not spent with a husband, a child, a friend, or a parent." With her signature white hair and pearls, she became an icon in her own right. And yet, even as a former First Lady, she remained humble and humorous. When recognized at Sam's Club in Houston, she'd often respond, "No, I'm much younger and prettier." Our family is immeasurably blessed to call Barbara Bush our mom. Her legacy lives on, not only in history books, but in the hearts of everyone she touched. It's unlikely that Mom ever pictured herself on a postage stamp. And it's very likely that she would be wondering what all this fuss is about today. But on behalf of my entire family, I can assure you that we are all very proud and grateful for this special tribute. It is now my privilege and honor to introduce the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump.
Welcome everyone and welcome to Bush family. It's nice to have you here. Thank you, Laura, for a beautiful introduction, and welcome back to the White House as we honor the life and legacy of your mother, First Lady Barbara Bush. Barbara's unwavering conviction, dignity, and deeply loyal to her loved ones have left an undeniable mark on our hearts and history. Your mother's values can be seen in her family, friends, and former staff who also join us here today and continue her legacy. Many thanks to Alice Yates, CEO of the George and Barbara Bush Foundation, for joining us today. Along with the Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy, you are helping current and future generations to navigate the world with confidence and dignity. And I would like to thank the White House Historical Association and the United States Postal Service, especially Julie Letorok, who made today's event possible. The dynamics within American households shape our nation's core values, strengths, and collective wisdom. It is within the privacy of our homes and the principles of morality, ambition, and empathy take root. The family units serve as our first line of foresight, often more influential than the decision made in Washington, D.C. Barbara Bush's iconic commencement address at Wellesley College in 1990 remains an important moment in the conversation surrounding women's role in society. Her message, which emphasized the importance of family and personal integrity, encouraged women to carve their own paths in life. Mrs. Bush exclaimed, "Your success as a family, our success as a society, depends not on what happens in the White House, but on what happens inside your house." The First Lady further inspired the audience by highlighting the importance of pursuing personal dreams, stating, "The winner of the hoop race will be the first to realize her dream, not society dreams, her own personal dream. Who knows, somewhere out in this audience may even be someone who will one day follow in my footsteps and preside over the White House. And I wish him well. Over 35 years have passed since Barbara Bush made a call for a female American president, a reflection of her forward-thinking vision. As a devoted mother, and one of only 2 First Ladies who has son also ascended to the presidency, she embodied the complex interplay of ambition and identity that defines us all. Mrs. Bush's legacy is marked by her respect for tradition, while also breaking with convention. While she is known for championing literacy, she also supported women's empowerment, changed the national conversation on AIDS, and took a stand supporting gay rights. I applaud Mrs. Bush's mark defending our society's vital need for women across all avenues, whether CEO or homemaker. We have, can, and will build better families and run innovative businesses at the same time, ultimately shaping a brighter future. The unveiling of this commemorative stone honors Barbara Bush's contributions as First Lady and her enduring impact on our nation. May this tribute inspire us to live with compassion, act with strength, and uphold the values that direct us toward meaningful existence. Thank you.
Taking over the seat,